Hello everyone and welcome to episode 23 of the WCW 2000 save here on TEW IX. It's Slamboree 2000 tonight. I have tried to put together something coherent and we shall find out if it was. We do have some pre-show matches. I'm just leaving it on this screen so we don't reveal the opener to start with, but we've had some changes. Obviously Jeff Jarrett has now quit the company, so the Jarrett match is cancelled, which has actually worked out in my favour because it's allowed me to introduce something I wanted to do anyway that I wouldn't have been able to do if Jarrett actually had a match. So that's good. Otherwise, it's not a huge card tonight. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping for the best, but this might be bad, I don't know. But anyway, the Cat Associates get a win in the pre-show, as do Berlin and Disco Inferno, just to see if we're had any chemistry there, because obviously we might bring them back as a team, depending. Crowbar's still pissed. I don't know what Crowbar's problem is, but he's fuming. He's phoning in all his performances. He wanted to quit when Jarrett did, so who knows. Anyway, Pyro, Ballyhoo, opening contest. Billy Kidman defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. with the shooting star press following interference from Torrie Wilson. The match was designed so the wrestlers could go out and try and steal the show, and Kidman makes defense number 1 of the Cruiserweight title. And Torrie Wilson continuing to get involved in these matches. We've not turned anyone heel yet, but Rey frustrated again because he had a good honest contest with Kidman, and right at the end Torrie got involved. Rey took his attention off the match. Kidman hits him with a move and then hits him with a shooting star press. It's a great opener of 64 that leads us into a 46 rated promo, so that's not bad, as Mean Gene asks DDP and Dustin who their partner is, and they say, well, the people have paid their hard-earned money for this show, so why not reveal who it is? As they make a lights down motion, so they like the hands bringing them down. The lights turn back on as the hardcore champion Sabu, who we always forget exists, is stood next to them. So Sabu has been brought in as the ringer. However, the Revolution do pick up the win in the 6-man tag as Booker T does pin Sabu with the scissors kick. He gets a 57. The creative finish was a failure. We have quite a lot of creative finishes, so I've used them throughout the show, so we might get some duds. Hopefully some are good though. But yeah, the Revolution pick up a big win. They've been struggling for wins recently, has to be said. So to get a win on pay-per-view over an established star and Dustin and Sabu. But good win. We then have the first of the NWO versus Law and Order matches as the Outsiders defeat Chronic when Kevin Nash pins Bryan Adams with a handful of tights, because they'll still cheat. Let's be real here. They may be the quote-unquote baby faces in this match, but they will still cheat to get ahead. I would have loved to have given Chronic the belts here, but they're nowhere near as good or as over as the Outsiders, and obviously Nash and I think Hall have creative control. So I figured just have them win by cheating. Easier way to do it. 63 overall. It leads immediately into the next match, and it's unfortunate they don't click. But Scott Steiner defeats Mike Awesome by submission with the Steiner recliner. So it's a bad night for Law and Order. The new stable have lost both matches against the NWO. I should have had someone interfere to help Steiner here. I just realised I should have had Nash and Hall maybe get involved, but it's fine. Yeah, don't click, it makes it awkward. That's unfortunate. A 54 is not bad, but it's an unfortunate note to have because I'd like to run this back down the line. But afterwards, Eric Bischoff comes down to the ring and he's got some news for the NWO. He says, look, we may have lost tonight, but Chronic and Mike Awesome have already started beating the NWO down. Obviously it's now 3-on-3, not 3-on-4. And number 1, Jeff Jarrett has been fired. He laid his hands on the boss, so he's out of here. That's why you haven't seen him tonight and why his match was cancelled. Number 2, the NWO may, however, have got lucky in their matches tonight, but he's got some exciting news for them. You see, the NWO never bothered to look at the contract and who was due to face Jarrett And now Eric can reveal that by holding it over their heads. And he says, look, I could not announce this, but I'm going to announce it. He shows himself up to the Titantron as Bill Goldberg's logo appears on screen, and the commentary team scream about how confused they are. And is Goldberg working with Law and Order? Bischoff seems to think so. Awesome and Chronic are smiling, they're laughing. Everyone's confused. Is Goldberg a part of Law and Order? Was Goldberg going to face Jeff Jarrett? The answer is no, because Goldberg is not ready to wrestle yet. He's got a few weeks to go. But that maybe explains this promos for Goldberg. He's part of Law and Order. We don't know. And we will not know. Potentially for a week, for a day, for 3 weeks, depending on what I do next. We'll find out. 52 is not bad though. We then get a 60 here as Hogan's backstage pre-match, and he tells the other three to stay in the back. He'll deal with them on Nitro after this win because he's focused on Sid. Sid's on one bad leg, and tonight Hogan is taking Sid out of WCW. And then tomorrow he's going to deal with Flair, Piper and Package because they keep letting him down. And in the match, Hogan does defeat Sid with the leg drop. It gets a 61 because Sid is once again refusing to try again in matches. The finish was a failure and Hogan's penalised for personal issues, but that's why this wasn't the main event. It gets a 61. Hogan picks up the win over Sid, obviously. And I mean, this is the point where if Sid does want to hand his notice in, I'm not going to be too mad. But up next, 66, Angle is Sting. It's just cuts a promo. He's looking forward to the next main event. He knows everything Benoit and Vampiro have, Sting is going to get. But Sting's the champ for a reason, and he will be victorious when the bell rings. Oh, and the match is fantastic as well. Sting does defeat Chris Benoit and Vampiro in 15 minutes when Sting makes Vampiro submit with the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting makes defense number 8 of the heavyweight title. Benoit, the best guy in the match. The hierarchy you expect, really. The finish was a success. 79 is fantastic. And the show gets a 68, which will take a 68. That's a good rating for us these days, because usually we're in the low 60s, late 50s. If we'd made it main event focus, it was probably going to be higher, but I'll take a 68. I will take it. I'm not going to thumb my nose up at a 68. Let's give some praise, and I think we're just going to praise the main event. To be honest, Vamp and Benoit. I think that's the guys we need to just praise. Let's tell them that they're awesome. They're all pleased. We made 70,000 on the paper. We make more on TV. It's embarrassing how bad the pay-per-view revenue is. So bad. Popularity, I mean, that's fine. There's no red. That's what we want. Do we do a media scrum? You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. The company's got a bright future. There's tension between Brian... I fully support Brian Clark. Shut up, Hogan. I don't care. Mike Awesome, I've got high hopes, but he will have to work his way up the ladder. Dean Malenko is angry at life. Dean's still a big part of my plans and a valued member. The morale... I will sort it out. And it went down well with the locker room. ECW are approaching bankruptcy. Ooh, that's good news. I only care about WCW. Tell you what, I'm always scared to do a post-show scrum. That went really well. Other than Hulk Hogan being annoyed because I've upset Brian Knobbs, but I want Brian Knobbs to quit. I have been pulling ribs on Brian Knobbs and Mark Madden every single show currently. Like the elaborate plot one that has a higher chance of upsetting them because I'm trying to get rid of them both. But yeah, good show. I'm not going to really complain about that. I think that's a decent night. Feedback's been great. Where does that rank in terms of the pay-per-view history? So that was a 66. So it's our second best pay-per-view. And I agree, I think it was our second best pay-per-view. Better than Sold Out. better than Super Bowl, miles better than Spring Stampede, which was a dud. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. We're in lots of debt. Let's just ignore that page. Ignore it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Goldberg's back in 21 days. He's back in 3 weeks today. And the Great American Bash is on the 11th of June. So one day after what would have been my 9th birthday, we'll be running the Great American Bash. Goldberg will be back. So that's exciting. However, I will preface all of that by saying, one, this has been a very short episode, because there's not been much to really talk about other than the show. I have batch recorded a lot of episodes here, and where have I got up to? Let me do all this again. I've done this in a few episodes now, but let me just reiterate where we are. So, this is episode 23, I believe I said. Which means this will be coming out on the what? So we've got that one there, that one there, and there. I think this is coming out on the 16th of September. So it's nearly 3 weeks away from me recording this to then. I will possibly be doing some more recording, but again, I do apologise if you have any comments that I haven't answered in videos. I am really busy September. I'm away twice. We're away to Greece. By the time you see this, we'll be going to Greece in a week and a half. And then in October, it's my first wedding anniversary, so, you know, that's nice. And we've got some stuff planned down in London. I'm going to see Halloween live, finally. And also an NFL game and a concert as well in Wolverhampton. So we've got quite a lot of fun stuff planned. Personal life. So the videos will be getting batch recorded over the next month. So again, I apologise if you have any things you want to see in videos or anything that you guys have recommended I do that I have not actioned. Again, I do sincerely apologise. Hopefully you understand. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. I actually quite enjoyed the pay-per-view. I thought it was a good show. I'm happy with what we've done. I would have ideally maybe liked to do a title change with the NWO, but they've got the creative control and Law and Order's not really that popular yet. What do they actually look like as a stable on that note? They're an important part, but they are struggling as their momentum is not great. But they've only been together for a month. So Daphne's Angels as well have some name value, which is nice to see. The Revolution don't have enough important members for their strength to be analysed. Great. And then the Cat Associates also exist. I mean, their match history is outstanding. It has to be said. They're getting better though. They're getting better. They had an 8 for their first ever match. Then had a 15 a couple of weeks later. They are now hitting the late 20s, early 30s. So, you know, it's getting better. Slowly but surely. Let's have a little look at our roster, why don't we, yeah? Let's have a little look. So, let's have a look at some of the main event guys. Benoit, what's your popularity at? 68, so he's gone up a couple of points, which is good to see. Sting is at 78, so he's just staying put. And Vampiro is up to 66. So we've managed to do quite well on that front. Sid is 81. Wow. Sid's one of our most popular. Hogan's obviously more popular. I did not realise Sid was as over as he is. I mean, what? Booker's at 67, Brett's at 82, but obviously we can't use him. Canyon 64, DDP 71. Goldberg's our most popular star, but he's not currently doing anything yet. Kevin Nash hovering about where he was. Ric Flair has gone down a few points. Scott Hall has gone down quite a bit actually. Steiner's up to 77. Yeah, Sid's actually incredibly popular, but he's probably going to hand his notice in again. He's already done it twice. So, and the concern when someone hands their notice in is, of course, that they will turn around and say they're not working anymore. Other bits of news I forgot to mention. Chameleon's contract is up in 3 days' time. So, bye. That's $5,000 saved. Mickey J's contract expired. The referee would just let him leave. And our next wave of contracts isn't for another 54 days, so by the end of June, Symphony, Shakira, Mona, Van Hammer, Tank Abbott, Ayukea, Hogan, as in Horace, Big T and Elizabeth, we're all letting them leave. Piper, we will probably let leave as well. I'm just going to write him out, I think. But I don't see any value here, long run, quite frankly, so we will just let those guys leave. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Again, quite far in advance. Apologies if I haven't got to anything in videos. I will be replying to comments as best as I can. Thanks for all the support. As of the 27th of August, this has been sensational. You guys have been ridiculous. Every video is over 100 views, other than the most two recently uploaded ones, which are already in the 80s. So, like, those will both tick over to 100 very shortly. 383 subscribers as of today. The subscriber count has been insane since I started these videos. They've gone up nearly 80, I think, since I started doing them. So, insane. Thanks so much. Hopefully you enjoyed the pay-per-view. I'll be back to do Nitro and Thunder in a few days' time for you. For me, it'll probably be about 3 weeks from now until I get that recorded. So bear with me if I forget what's happened. But thank you so much for watching. Comments, subscribe, likes, all the fun stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.